Okay, so we're here on the South Fork of the Eel River in the beautiful Redwood region with California Conservation Corps members who are based out of Fortuna Campus in Humboldt County. And the community has about 100 Corps members, and one of the really cool things is that we have our own newsletter. Thanks very much to Jessica, the editor. And so we have her with a couple of the recent contributors, Jake Ryan and Monty Welsh, and they're going to give you a very short synopsis on their most recent articles, and then we're going to interview the editor. So Monty, why don't you tell us a little bit about your most recent article?
Thank you, John. Very much it's a take on my interpretation of Wicked. Just took the classics fairy tale of Sleeping Beauty, did a couple years afterwards, and just went from there. You start out, you have just the son of the evil queen. She's trying to regain his throne and the powers that were denied to him by Prince Charming and the Princess Rose.
So yours is not a review on the book. Yours is actually a short fictional story.
Yeah, it's
cool.
based it's based off of the idea that Wicked, that evil is good in its own way. Evil isn't born, evil is created. So just my take on a classic fairy tale.
Cool.
Yep.
And Jacob just dropped his millipede. So if you get that millipede, if you hold your hand really, really still, he can focus in on that millipede. Very important decomposer of the forest. Out here with its many, many legs, looking not so different than its ancient ancestor that crawled out of the ocean. So Jacob's also a contributor to the CCC newsletter at Fortuna, which is named, what's it called?
The core copy.
The core copy. So Jacob, tell us a little bit about your article.
My article is a book review on Scott Cunningham's book Earth Power, and it is about earth-based religion and spirituality. And yeah, Scott Cunningham.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah, definitely. It's a good book.
Awesome.
What kind of people though would you recommend it for?
People who are spiritually curious and open-minded.
Cool. So there was a while there where our old editor Cedric Cunningham left, and there was like a couple editors I think in between, and Jessica successfully revived it. And what kind of articles do you think are important for Corps members or your age group? What kind of stuff do you think is important to talk about?
The stuff that I think is most important to talk about is, well, one, conservation from a Corps member point of view or from a younger person's point of view, because the Corps members who do understand things, sometimes it's easier for them to teach some of the other Corps members in words that they'll understand.
Yeah.
Because if somebody who's much older than you and is from a different culture, or not different generational culture, might not always know how to word things so that they'll understand it. And so I think those are definitely important, but the ones that I think are above anything is just stuff that's actually from how Corps members think, how Corps members choose to interpret the world, whether that be poetry or stories like Monty has, or book reports even, because if your C1 recommends something to you like a book, it's going to be like, oh, okay, I'll read that, and then they'll choose whether or not to read it, whether the
whatever their interest is.
C1 explained it well, but if it's from another person's point of view, that's the same age or type of person as you, you're going to read that and you're going to be like, oh, well, that might be more interesting to me because, this other person who's like me read this book, or, they watched this movie about this. I think I might give it a try.
So this is an impromptu question I didn't ask you before, but going into the summer months and spike season and stuff, is there any kind of certain articles that you want that would reflect the summer, or just any articles that you would like to see in future Core copies?
Mostly articles that I want to see in future Core copies are articles about the things that we actually do. So, like, if a crew goes out to an area that we wouldn't normally go out to because it's always raining, write about it, because they might be the only crew that gets to read about that. And also, like, the crews that work in kitchen, the crews that work in shop, they don't get to go. They don't. And so sharing that experience with somebody else, whether or not they just read about it or they actually got to be there, is really important, I think.
Is the core copy also going to take stuff from artists, like paintings or drawings or stuff?
We have at least 2 different featured artists in this next upcoming newsletter, and in past newsletters we have featured people like Kate Weddle, who she's one of the special corps members. She paints and draws, and she does a lot of artistic things, including woodwork and working with glass. So
do you think that the core copy and how it's resonated with the community, do you think that all CCC centers should investigate and explore the possibilities of doing a corps member newsletter written by corps members? Good.
And I think that we should utilize the cab newsletters more as well, because people from other centers do different things. They have different people there. They've built their own different communities even. And not only is it nice to read about your own community, but it would be nice to read about a different person's community that's so similar to your own and in the same kind of little spectrum of...
And CAB is the community advisory boards that are made up of corps members who fundraise or plan trips and are pretty much the voice for the corps members. So I think that's a great idea. All right, well, thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. And get back to work.